right, this lesson is going to be about predicate nominatives and predicate adjectives. A predicate nominative is a noun or a pronoun that renames the subject of a sentence. A predicate adjective is an adjective that describes the subject of a sentence. Those are the difference. So one's a noun, one's an adjective. If you get down into the thick of it and you're not for sure, then get a dictionary and that will help. If we used the mathematical symbols in English, we could use an equal sign instead of saying a linking verb, because the subject and the predicate mean the same thing. She is my mother. She is the subject, and mother renames she, or my mother is she. It's the same, it means the same thing. The very key thing that you need to know is that a predicate nominative follows a linking verb. That's huge right there. That's the biggest thing you need to know about predicate nominative or predicate adjectives. So here is the order, subject, linking verb, predicate nominative. You have to be able to identify the predicate nominative in order to use the correct pronouns. So that's the main difference between a predicate nominative and a predicate adjective. So let's go through here, and this is our flow chart of how do we identify a predicate adjective. So we have the sentence, Kristen was my friend when I lived in China. So we have to find the prepositional phrases. In China is a prepositional phrase. Draw a line through that so that we know that we don't mix up a predicate nominative inside of a prepositional phrase. So as I said during the indirect object lesson, a prepositional phrase, you will never find inside of a prepositional phrase your subject, your predicate nominative, your direct object, or your indirect object. They won't be found there, so you can mark them out. The next thing after you found your prepositional phrases and marked them out is to identify the subjects and verbs. So let's make that a little bigger. So here we have Kristen is the subject, was is a verb, I is a subject, and lived is a verb. So then we have to identify the type of verb. Is it an action verb or a linking verb? Was is a linking verb, so we put an LV above it. Lived is an action verb. We didn't put anything on that. Then you identify the word that renames or describes the subject. So friend renames Kristen. Kristen was my friend. I could turn that around and say my friend was Kristen. It's the same concept. So takeaways from this lesson is it looks similar to a direct object. The big key is the verb in a predicate nominative is a linking verb. And you can remember that because predicate means verb. Predicate nominative means name. So a predicate nominative is it renames the subject. That's literally what it means. So here again are the steps to identify a predicate nominative. And we went over those. Let's see. Let's do a couple sample sentences right quick, just to demonstrate so that you can see. All right, so let's go up here and go through our steps. Identify the prepositional phrases in the sentence. So on my grandmother's property is the prepositional phrase. The next step is draw a line through these because we don't need them, so we'll draw a line through that. The next step is find the action. Well, we've got to find the subject first. So barn is a subject, so we're going to underline that once. And then we're going to identify the verb. Was is the verb, so we're going to underline that twice. Okay. And then that is a subject, so I underline that once. And sat is a verb. So We're going to underline that. Then we go through and we identify what type of a verb we have. So was is a linking verb, and sat is an action verb. So then we look at what renames barn. So barn is a noun. So we're looking for a word that is either a noun or a pronoun that renames the barn. And the word building renames the barn. So we're going to call that a predicate nominative. How's that for that? All right, you want to do another one? Let's do another one. Okay, let's go through this. First thing we want to do is find our prepositional phrases in the end. The next thing we do is we find our subject, hope. Then we want to find our verb, is. Then we identify what type of verb we have. Is a linking verb. So if we have a linking verb, we have to see what renames hope. And this sentence, all, renames hope. Let's look at a predicate nominative. Okay, we don't have any prepositional phrases, so we find our subject, and friend is the subject. Then we find our verb, is a linking verb. So we're going to, I think I need to say that. Okay, then we say what describes friend. Well, the word kind describes friend. So friend is a predicate adjective. And that's how we identify those. So why don't you try in exercise 1, and I'll come back and go over that with you.